Alright, today we are replacing batteries for an RBC43. What you'll need are a Phillips head screwdriver, a marker, a razor blade to open the box, and your replacement kit. Start off by removing any metallic jewelry or around your neck and hands. Just working with batteries, we don't want to get electrocuted, so alright, let's open up the box. You might need a razor blade or a box cutter. Just open the box up. The replacement kit should come with 8 batteries. Pull them all out, just inspect them really quick. Make sure all of them are intact, not leaking. There we go, 8 replacement batteries. Go ahead and move this box out of our way. Probably not going to need this. Just ring in my pocket. Okay, so this is our RBC43 unit. To replace this, what we'll start with is our Phillips head screwdriver. We'll need to remove 4 screws, 2 from the front, 2 in the rear. Turn counterclockwise to remove the screws. You're going to lift up on this front cover, and it should slide right off. Place the front cover somewhere else. Might want to move the screws and everything to the side here. Next, what you want is your marker. Next, you want to do is lift the battery. You can pull from the front of the battery and lift them up. You want to lift the first 2 batteries up. Careful, there's some wires attached to them, so just carefully lift them up. And you can see that the batteries are attached to some cables. What I like to do is use a marker and mark off on the cables what they connect to. So R would be the red, black would be the negative. If you want, you can write positive or negative too. It's going to be varied up to you. Okay. So once I do that, I grab my replacement batteries, or remove the little cover off them, unplug the connectors. You see they slide off really easily once you pull them, and then just replace. Just drop them in, replace the connectors. You're going to do this for both sides. Every battery, just put your old battery aside. Just remove. I recommend not unplugging a battery until you've replaced the first one, just so you don't confuse the cables. Alright, once they've been replaced, you can place them back down. Just kind of hold the cables, and you're just going to place them back down. You'll see that there's a little plastic cover down here and a little sheet that you need to line up so that the battery can go flush down. So make sure you get that front part in first and then let it drop down. Make sure your cables are all laying down flush. If you see that the cables are not good down correctly, you might want to adjust them before. There we go. Alright. This one looks like it's wobbling. So we just gotta. There you go. Next set would be your 2. Once you get here, you want to go to your 2 that are next to each other and kind of lift them up. You might have to force it up a little bit. Connectors are attached pretty well. That should come off. Before we do that, let's mark off our cables like we did earlier. Minus, positive, minus. positive. We'll replace one battery. Take that off. Make sure we replace it with the new one. Disconnect. You're gonna connect. Alright. Same thing with this one. Disconnect your old wires, old battery off. Reconnect the new one. Make sure it goes in and it snaps all the way. Sometimes you might think it's in, but make sure it snaps in. Alright, if you're done with that, hold your cables on the side here. You gotta make sure it gets into the side groove, and then you can go ahead and push it down. Careful for this one, it might try to get in the way. And it should just go down really easily. Next is your next set. You lift that up same way, just pull from the inside and it should just lift right up. Tend to mark our cables again. Negative, positive, wires, and it should fall right in. If it doesn't, like this one right here, you see how it's not in, you might have to pick it back up, move it around. There are metal guides that are on the sides of it, so there you go. Next, the last two. This one you have to be careful because if you notice the wires run underneath this metal guarding, so if you lift up this first one, you're going to want to grab it from the back end. Kind of lift it up and kind of grab it from the back here. Actually, here, let's try to lift up this other side. Kind of got to lift it up from this back end. Like this. And actually get the wire out before. And then lift it up. Kind of got to do the same thing to this side. Make sure this wire gets out before you lift it up. Cables, and it's up. Grab your marker. Get minus, positive, minus, positive. Okay. Detach your cable. Simply pull again. Rinse and repeat, folks. When placing these batteries down, make sure these cables are run correctly on the sides here. You're going to want to put this one down first. Actually, you're going to want to put this side down first. Make sure this cable is run on the side and not underneath the battery. If it gets underneath the battery, you'll have problems with it getting tangled up or not sitting flush. So, okay, run that cable underneath. Time for the second cable. Remember to run that yellow cable underneath this metal grate first, and then you're going to slide the battery in. Also, remember to watch out for this cable to make sure it's not underneath the battery. So what you want to do is hold this cable in place on the side right here. Just hold it down while you're putting the battery in, and then it should just go right in. You notice your cables on the side, make sure they're running correctly. So everything's running on the side. Everything should be nice and flush. Nowhere it's lifting. Just make sure there's no lifting on one corner, and you should be good. I'll make sure everything's connected. You can double check your connections, make sure nothing's loose. And as you can see from the top, that all the connections are there. That all the connectors, just check them really quick just to make sure all of them are attached. Okay. Like this one right here, you see how it's moved a little bit. You might want to adjust that so it's straightened out. You don't want any cables moving around later. Alright, and you can close it back up. To close it back up, remember that this is the front of the unit. It has a long tab, skinny tab. I'm going to place this in the front, and the back end is right there. Just slide it down, press it. It should just go right back down and install the 4 screws. I like to alternate my screws whenever I put in something. It's good to alternate the sides so that the whole unit actually goes in well. Sometimes the screws are off if you do one side first. And that's it. The RBC43 is ready to go and put back in the machine.